Welcome back to Bushwhacking. We're working on the boat again today. We're going to be changing some wheel bearings today on the boat trailer. We got about a 4-hour drive to go fishing. We got dates set. We're excited. So let's get after it and get these bearings changed out. We're going to start by removing this bearing buddy. It's basically a way to help grease it. Once you get everything installed, kind of keeps grease in there. This one's being a bugger, eh? And I got new ones to replace this because I didn't know how good a shape these ones were in, so I'm just going to knock them out of here. But if you're going to reuse them, just try to be a little gentle. You could use a dead blow, something like that. This is going to be a very messy project, a lot of grease involved, so make sure you got, brake clean or shop towels, things like that, just to kind of keep everything cleaned up. So right now we're just cleaning off this grease that was in here, and we're going to expose the cotter pin and the nut that holds the hub on. We're going to end up removing those. If you spin this hub, you can kind of hear the bearing a little bit. Maybe it just hasn't been greased in a while, but there's no play in it, so it's probably good. I know this one was not getting warm or anything like that when I was using it last year, so I'm just going to replace both of them just to be on the safe side. Alright, we're going to start off by taking this cotter pin out. I believe there's new cotter pins in the kit that we're going to install, so no worries if it breaks or something like that, but just double check if it's on in your kit or not. I'm sure it is. I'm sure most of them come with it. But again, better safe than sorry. So yank that out. Put it somewhere safe if you're trying to save it. And then there's just a little nut on here, and it's actually just kind of finger tight, so we'll spin that off by hand. And that'll expose the bearing, at least the front bearing. Oh, that's just a little crown that's on there. The actual nut's right there. Ow. Grab a shop towel so they're not so messy. I hate working with grease. Alright, now we should be able to pop that hub off. It should just slide off. There it is. Looks like one of the bearings was left on the shaft. So we'll take that off as well. They're all going to get replaced. These actually don't look like they're in too bad a shape. I did pump a ton of grease into there last year just to make sure everything was good. Looks like maybe even the seal came off. That might make it easy for us. Oh yeah. The seal's still on the hub as well. Makes it easy. Makes it a lot easier to remove it from the hub assembly. Alright, we're going to clean up this spindle assembly and we'll get back to you. Alright, we got the spindle assembly all cleaned up. It's looking pretty good. I don't see any major wear on it or heat marks or anything like that. The area where the seal rides feels good. There's no big gouges in it. Should be ready to install the new bearings once we get them all packed and installed in the hub. Alright, first things first, I'm going to clean up the hub assembly, just try to get all the grease out of there. I'll probably just wipe out as much as I can and then hit it with the brake clean and try to get it fully cleaned up. And there's actually a whole bunch of grease kind of inside the hub. We'll try and get that all out of there. All right, we got it mostly cleaned out. I'm gonna hit it with the brake clean and just get it extra clean. All right, I forgot the kit comes with races. The race is what the bearing fits into inside the hub. It's this little metal piece in here. There's one there, and then there's one here. And I'm just going to pound those out with a hammer and a punch. So. All right, we got the hub all cleaned out. Races are out. We're going to go ahead and install the new ones. All right, as you can see here, we got the new race and the backside bearing, and as you can see, it just fits right in there. That's kind of what it rolls in, is in the race. So we're gonna go ahead and install those. I have a seal and race installing kit from Harbor Freight. As you can see, it just fits in there right like that, and then you pound it in. Just try and make sure you get it centered. You'll be able to feel when it bottoms out in there. So we got the first one installed. Bearing just sits in there like that and spins like that. Now we'll go on and install the next one. You can kind of look inside here and see, and just make sure the gap around the bottom of the race is the same all the way around. And you should be able to tell when it bottoms out. Give it a couple more taps just to be sure. Yeah, she feels pretty solid. All right. Now the fun part. So before you install, or before you put the wheel bearings in, you need to pack them with grease. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is kind of, there's tools and things you can buy that are supposed to make it less messy. I don't know. I find it, if I don't need the tool, why buy it, right? So basically, I'm going to take this bearing grease. Oh yeah, look at that. And I'm going to put a bunch of it on my palm. Here's the fun part. I'm going to take the bearing, and with this open end here, I'm going to just push it down onto my palm. Just kind of get a little bit at a time. You'll see the grease is starting to come up in through the bearing, and that's what you want to see. So we'll get a little bit more in there, and we'll move on to the next area. Get it filling in there. You can see it's coming up right there. Looks good. Keep on keeping on. And just like that, you're good to go. I'm not going to put this one in yet because I have to install the seal on the back. So we'll put it somewhere kind of clean. Get our hands cleaned up. Actually, before we clean our hands up, I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to do to my seals. So on the seal, there's a little spring back in here that holds the seal tight around the shaft that it's going to seal on. And a mechanic buddy of mine told me that it's good to put grease down in where that spring is, and that'll help retain the spring as you're pounding in the seal. And it's not like you're going to be bashing the thing, but you'll probably be whacking it pretty good to get it to seat in there. And it's all grease on the backside anyway, and then that way too you can grease up the sealing surface itself for when you put it on the hub. I already have a bunch of grease on my hand, so why not throw it on there? Make sure the inner side of that seal is lubed up. That way when you slide it on to the spindle, it doesn't catch and tear. Use the same thing. That race tool also works as a seal driver. So you just find one that fits on top of the seal. Start tapping it in. I'll probably get one size bigger just so that it hits the side of the hub and doesn't go down. That way I know I'm flush all the way around. Hear that sound? Changes pitch. The sound will change pitch once the aluminum is hitting the steel of the hub. And just make sure you have your bearing installed before you do that so you don't have to take it back out. I like to pack some grease in here. I don't know, just makes me feel better about things. To know that it's in there. I don't know if it's actually necessary or not. It'll probably just get pushed out when we run the hub through there, but I just like to make sure everything's real good and greased up. Alrighty. Take our front bearing. Same thing, get the grease all up on it. Go ahead and stick that in. Now we're ready to install it back on the spindle. And just so we know, it doesn't look like, I thought the kit came with a nut and a cotter pin. It doesn't. Some of them might, so just be aware of that. They also come with 2 different seals. Make sure you're getting the right size. I used the old seal to compare just to make sure it was all the same. Alright, again, you're getting ready to reassemble. I'm going to take some of this grease and just get it on the spindle. Kind of where that seal is going to sit. Probably doesn't hurt to put on everything, but there's enough grease in there to do just fine. Alrighty, so we got the spindle greased up. We're going to take the hub assembly and just gently slide it on there. Try not to nick the seal with any tight metal spots. Get it close to where you want it, and it should just slip right on, just like that one did. Next, we're going to take this washer. It's got a little pin in there that it slides into. That goes on. Then we'll take the nut. We'll thread that on. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to torque this down 30 or 40 foot-pounds. I'll do 35 just to be right there in the middle. Alright, and as you torque it down, you're going to want to spin the hub. I think that just helps put a little bit of preload on the bearings. I don't know, I spin it the opposite way that I'm tightening. And you wait for it to click. You can feel it's pretty tight as you're doing that. There, you got the click. And then what you're going to do is you're going to loosen it up so you can undo it by hand. And then what you're going to do is just put it on finger tight. You take your cover that's going to hold your cotter pin in place. Grab your cotter pin. See if it'll work down in there. Looks like it will. Bend it up. I don't know what y'all like to do, up or down, left and right. As long as it doesn't come out, I don't think it's gonna matter. And then it looks like these tabs kind of got messed up, so I'm gonna just push them down, make sure stuff doesn't spin, because that'll keep the nut from backing off. And there you have it. A packed bearing hub assembly for a, what is this, a Easy Loader 5.0 boat trailer. A lot of trailers use the same style bearings, so it should be pretty similar to most of them. All right. Next, we're going to take our bearing buddy, our new bearing buddy, I'm going to pull the cap off so I'm not smacking it with the hammer, but the side with the grease zerk goes out. I'm going to put it in like this and just give it a few taps, make sure it's seated all the way. You should be good. All right. Hope you guys learned something new today. It's definitely something you can do yourself. You can get your tire off and your trailer jacked up. You know, it's a little bit of a messy job, but it's definitely something that, you know, the average person can do and save themselves a lot of hassle being broke down on the side of the road. It's never happened to me before, but I've been with people that have had it happen, and it's not fun. So yeah, hopefully we'll get this thing on the road soon, get down to the big river and catch some salmon.